and I did a one room, and that one room I put it up on Airbnb.
Okay.
Within 24 hours, I got my first booking.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and from that, the role started. From one room, whatever money I made, I multiplied all the rooms and I set up the entire farm.
Hi everyone and welcome back to our podcast. Today I have somebody who's been very, very close to my heart, Vandy Krishna. Now Vandy Krishna is somebody who's always inspired me. She has a huge and I must say magnanimous experience in various fields. She started out her career with Times of India. Later on we've done International Kids Festival together, not only in India but also in US, etc. with many actors, actresses. She forayed into PR for fashion designers and now she's very successfully running her homestay business in many locations. So Vandana, so good to have you here.
Hi Sonali, I'm very excited to be here and share my journey.
And I'm sure all of you are going to learn so much today because she has such a huge experience to offer. She has such great information and knowledge about every field. I can't wait to start. So Vandy, how did the idea of homestay strike you?
So, as you just mentioned also that I have always been working and then I ventured into events.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened.
Oh God.
So there was a lockdown and everything stopped. And I just wanted to continue being in business. And one day, out of boredom and just being at home all the time, I went to the farm. We have a family farm which was lying vacant and it was very unkept because it was just bought like that. So I went there and I stood there and I thought, I wish this was better looking and there were things I could do here. And that's when I thought, why don't I start by doing a one room? Maybe for my self-use when I need a break. And I did a one room, and that one room, I put it up on Airbnb.
Okay.
Within 24 hours, I got my first booking.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and from that, the role started. From one room, whatever money I made, I multiplied all the rooms and I set up the entire farm. And that just giving up for staycations led to catering, hosting weddings, cocktails, birthday parties, get-togethers, kitty parties for ladies, and there's no looking back.
So from the staycation, it actually turned out into a complete venue for events.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a full-fledged business.
A full-fledged business. I'm excited to know how much money can you make from homestays?
So you can make anything from 50,000 to multiple of lakhs.
Oh my God. Okay, let me ask you another question. So not everybody is as well-to-do as you are. They would have a family farm, etc. So do I need to own the property?
No, not at all. In fact, the model is changing so much that you don't need to own any property and you can still manage multiple of properties, number of hundreds, and you can make so much money. See, the thing is that a lot of people have farmhouses and they also have holiday homes in the hills or by the beach. People invest, they buy, once in a year they go there. So those homes are lying vacant and the owners are actually just paying for the maintenance and the caretakers and staff. So a lot of these properties are available and the owners do not have the time to, put it on a homestay or things like that.
Yeah.
So you can just reach out to those people and they will give it to you. Most of them are willing to give it and you can just get into a partnership. You can either lease it out. So there are multiple models. You can lease it out, you can rent it out, you can do a revenue share and you can just do up their property. See, most holiday homes which people own or farmhouses, they're actually done up because people go there once in a while.
So they're already in good shape.
Yeah, and they have maintenance staffs. But still, there are so many other properties, especially in the hills, where people have bought the holiday homes and they are just lying there vacant and rotting. So I do both, right? I manage properties if it's readily available, and if not, I also help the owners to do up the properties. So I'll do the interiors, I'll do the renovation, I will make it pretty, I'll do up the bedrooms as per theme, set up the kitchen, and then the next step will be put it on a homestay. So all the owners need to do is give me the house key and they can just sit there counting money in their bank.
Wow, sounds so exciting. Okay, so tell me, how much investment do you need to set up a pretty looking room or a lobby area or a living area? How much money do you need?
If the basic home or the farm is already in decent shape, you just need to invest very little, minuscule. There are a lot of places where you can get very reasonable stuff. And especially when you do up homestays, people are looking at a lot of, we call them home away from home, but people are looking at very bright colors. They're looking at a happy feel for a
Instagrammable.
holiday.
Instagrammable home.
You got the right word.
Yeah.
They're looking at an Instagrammable home.
So is that expensive?
Not at all. Not at all.
No.
There are a lot of small markets. You just need to know where to go, and you can pick up. You don't have to, put in Persian carpets. You can just put rugs which you find online, and you can just make the place pretty with small fairy lights, some tea lights, some candle stands. Very, very basic stuff which is easily available.
I've always seen you making any place look so pretty, and I know that your love for candles, tea lights and fairy lights is just something you cannot do without. So I've seen that. So every place she does, it has these elements, of rugs and everything.
We make sure that whichever property we have at the moment and which we continue to acquire, I want to keep a consistent theme across all properties, as a brand value kind of a thing.
I see them. They're also romantic. They're dim in light. So the minute a couple would probably enter, they would probably feel like, wow, it's like very romantic. That's the theme you have for every place. I've noticed that. Okay. So another question that I want to ask you is that, so all of this sounds very interesting, but what is the process? Is there a process for starting a homestay?
See, the process is very simple. One, of course, you need to have a property, either your own or somebody else's leased out, or whatever the arrangement you get into. And the first step to have a homestay and to run it in India, you need a license. So without a license, it's not allowed, it's illegal. So, and acquiring the license is very, very easy.
How much does it cost?
So it costs from 3,000 to 10,000. There are separate categories. So it's a very easy registration process. And, the government, seeing the tourism, the way it is increasing, and India is
focusing a lot more on tourism.
Absolutely. So there is a scheme under the Incredible India where, you can just go online on the portal, and there is a homestay and B&B scheme. So all you need to do is log in and you apply. You have to give details, of course, and documentation of the property, the number of rooms, which category. Is it a villa? Is it an apartment? Is it a farmhouse? And the website is so easy.
Friendly.
And it will guide you. You just need the right documentation and you can just upload it, and there you get the license. There will be a team that will come and validate what you've given the information.
Inspect the house.
There will be an inspection on safety, etc. And there are certain norms you need, fire extinguishers, some places you need smoke alarms. So once you meet the requirements and the inspection is done, you are ready to roll, and 24 hours, you'll just start counting the money.
Are you serious? Okay, so while we're talking about all the money coming in and it being so easy, everything that looks so nice and thing on the outside usually has a lot of challenges, and we've been hearing about a lot of challenges, especially when it comes to couples coming in or things going a little haywire. So tell me, what are the challenges of homestays?
See, actually, if you ask me, homestay is a very easy business. But like you said, every business has challenges. There are few that we face. For instance,
couples?
Theft, not really, because we do procure the safety cameras, and as per homestay rules, you are allowed to put cameras only in common areas. So we do that, and of course we have staff. But there are problems like sometimes young couples want to book your place, and that they are not married. But having said that, it is absolutely okay to rent out a place to anybody who's an adult.
But hotels also do it.
So you can actually rent out your place to someone who's an adult. And they provide you with the correct government IDs. And if you want, you can do a ref check. You can do all of that. But then there are most who do not want to give. So I know some colleagues who run homestays. They actually ask for a marriage certificate. So it depends on the host what they want to offer. And
Incredible India.
Absolutely. So and then it's just not the young couples. There are other things, sometimes like when I give out my places for a pre-wedding cocktail or a pre-wedding function. So the huge families come and they are there, and people, though there are 5-6 rooms, 10-12 people will stay, but at least 50-60 people will visit the farm. So there is loud music, there is little damage to the property, they do decor, so all of that. So we're very clear with the guests, and we like to follow government rules, like after 10 p.m. loud music is not allowed. So we tell the guests, beforehand. But during the adrenaline of a wedding, it becomes very difficult. And guests, when they book a homestay, they start feeling this is my home. I've paid for it.
Yeah.
So that becomes a little difficult. But given my PR background, I think I do a decent job with the guests in handling them.
Fantastic. So not too many challenges. So one is a couple challenge, sometimes some music challenge. Anything else that you face?
And sometimes a lot of clients, of course, small stealing happens. They'll walk off with your hair dryers. They'll walk off with your towels. They'll do all of that. And so basically, there are simple rules which people need to follow. Like, for instance, when you give up your place for, to guests for a homestay, you take security deposits. So if there is damage to the property, you will, obviously keep that security deposit money. So, once you start getting into the business, you will learn a lot of tools where you will be able to control the damage and, kind of handle the challenges.
Okay. So do you recommend, if I have a property line, do you recommend me giving it on homestay? And, so somebody like me, who has multiple works, I do events, I do podcasts, I do influencing, I have kids, I have a family, I can't manage it. So is it better for me to do it myself or to hire an agency?
See, there are two ways of doing it. If you have your own property and you're busy because you already have a profession, but you have properties lying vacant, that's where people like us step in, right? Because we will take over your property. If it needs doing up, we will do it. So my company does that. We do up the properties as well as we manage your property, and we just give you the profits in the end of the month. Because somebody who is working and has properties, it becomes actually, the homestay business is a 24/7 kind of a job, because it's hospitality industry. You will have guests call you at bizarre timings at 2 o'clock and they will tell you that this channel on Tata Sky is not working. I have had guests calling me from the hills and telling me that we can't sleep because there are spiders, or there are sounds of the cricket, the jugnu, the sound that comes in the hills. So I have had a client who called me once and said, I can't sleep because there is a twittering sound of insects. I said, you are in the hills. This is normal. So, I can't control nature. So,
instead of actually, so it's more than just taking care of the house, you're actually counseling the guest as well.
Yeah.
That you have to tell them that you're actually in
Apart from that, if you want to be successful in a homestay business, you have to make the stays very, very experiential for your guests.
Yeah.
Because homestay as a business and B&B as a business is mushrooming everywhere today.
Yeah.
Right? So every lane in the hills, you will find 5 homestays.
Yeah.
Now, to stand out and to be exceptionally well, it is all about the service you provide. It's all about the experience you give to your clients, and then there is no looking back.
Okay, so 5 hacks in which I can make any room look more beautiful and Instagrammable.
I think you can play around with a lot of color. So if you have nice rugs thrown around everywhere, you can put some nice plants. Greenery is very welcoming. Lights, you can play around with dim lights. You can have sheer curtains. Then, there are a lot of places where you get very reasonable art, paintings or posters, stuff like that. And they really make the place very, very pretty.
So now you're making it sound so easy. So tell me these places. Where can I go and get all this from?
So
cheap places. I don't want the expensive ones.
So my go-to is Banjara Market. So all my properties. So I actually in Gurgaon, and there are at least 6 to 7 Banjara Market. Once you go there, you will realize that wow, this is like jackpot. So I buy a lot of stuff from Banjara and I transport all of that to the hills. Right? I get beautiful mirrors in less than $1,000, and
we are doing a reel on this very soon. under 20,000 for a room.
So we do all of that, and so that's about it. Put in some nice mirrors, throw plants, do rugs, do pretty linen, and posters, tea lights, fairy lights, and there, bingo, you have a beautiful looking home.
Fantastic. She makes it sound so easy. So what we've learned, I think if I have to summarize the whole thing, I think I've learned that homestays can be so much more than just renting out your room. They can actually turn into complete party and wedding function venues, and you can have such a great experience. You can actually diversify into doing complete events, right? You can do the catering, the artists. I remember we used to have a lot of parties at your farm, and we used to have singers, caterings, decor, everything being done by you. And other than that, it doesn't cost too much to actually start a homestay. You don't have to have your own home to start a homestay. You can actually lease it out. And if you don't even want to do that, you can actually get in touch with her company, who can actually do that for you and set up the whole process and start making money instantly. Isn't that-
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So Vandy, I've always seen you venturing out to different things, and you know, one thing that I've noticed about you is you're never scared. You just go out there, and I don't know why, but you just take a plunge every time. I don't know how. I'm full of self-doubt most of the times. I don't know if I want to do it. And you know, a lot of people out there, they just keep thinking. A lot of people who are watching this might be thinking, I should start it, but they never start homestays. So what is the one or a couple of advices that you want to give to somebody in whatever field when they want to start out something?
See, I think the most important thing is to be passionate about something.
Yeah.
And for that passion, you must have the fire in your belly, right?
So true.
And that's not enough. That's the start.
Okay.
You need to be a little focused and researched. You know, a lot of people come up with ideas and they launch it and it fails because the research has not gone in.
That is so right.
So you must research whichever industry you want to be
Yeah.
in. You must find out the pros and cons, the investments, and you should have a benchmark for yourself and go step by step, one day at a time, you
Yeah.
know, and keep a goal and pursue it. That's the most important thing. Second, seek advice. Talk to people. There are a lot of people, the right people, who will guide you in the industry. For instance, when I started my homestay business, I literally was under a mentor because every day there was a new challenge and I just found the right people and I spoke to them every day. This has happened, now what should I do? So imagine if I wouldn't have sought help, I wouldn't have grown. So talk to people, be passionate, research, and then just take the plunge. What will happen if you try? If you won't try, your probability of succeeding is 0. But if you try, at least it's 50%. So just go for it.
That's so true. And that's exactly what I believe in. Just go for it. On that thought, Vandy, thank you so much. Very soon I want to do a reel in the Banjara market with you. Are we ready for that?
Very glad to do it.
Lovely. Thank you so much for watching this episode. And thanks, Vandy, for always being there.
Thank you, Sonali.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.